So we're back again for another episode of Drinks with Chris, and I'm really, really happy to have Adam Julius Adel on with me today from across the pond. So how's it going, Adam?
It's doing great. It's a lovely day here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA.
Very nice, very nice. It's great to. What's the weather like? It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a little overcast, but beautiful temperature. Can't complain.
Right.
If I complain, that's not counting my blessings.
No, that's it. You've just got to. It's just positivity, isn't it? That's key to everything, really.
Well, yeah, that's the secret to success. You get what you put out.
Absolutely.
That's the secret.
So I think kicking it off, I'd like to know, because I've just kind of looked a little bit into the things the messages you'd sent me and the things we'd talked very, very briefly about. But I'd like to know a bit more about your kind of what you do, a few of your philosophies around business, around life, that sort of thing, just to give people like a little bit of an introduction about you, really.
Yeah, so I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I've never been the type of person to want to sit down in front of a computer and do what I'm told. Growing up, I played ice hockey, and I was good at ice skating. So what did I do? I officiated the younger kids, and I made good money, and that was good, pocket change for a high schooler, where where the other kids might be low on money. I was making a few $100 for a few hours of work ice skating and having fun. And it was the perfectly, finding ways to make money. I was good at swimming, so I became a lifeguard. So that I was always kind of my own boss, and amplified my skills and made money. And I never really was the type to work the typical 9 to 5. I've always had odd jobs in sales where I kind of just got to interact with people, and I realized that anything that I'm doing for someone else nowadays, with leveraging technology and the internet, I can do myself.
Yeah.
And I realized that, why am I wasting all my time learning skills, making my employer rich, when I'm going to be doing the same exact thing and making profit for myself?
That's right. Yeah, it's I don't know. Maybe there's two sorts of people in this world. There are the people, because I think that there are people who genuinely feel more comfortable and being kind of an employee and just picking up that paycheck and kind of just doing their day job, really. And then there's the other people who want to go out and kind of, I don't know, make a difference in the world, and at the same time making some money for themselves.
Yeah, it's important to me to have job security. My family always says, "Oh, you should just finish college." I didn't finish college. I dropped out, and so I didn't see the point. And they say, "Oh, go to college, get a job, work there for 40 years, get a pension, and everything will be okay." But people don't realize that's the most riskiest career move you can make. Because especially in the States, that people think, "Oh, I have a steady salary, I know what income's coming in." Well, what they don't realize is most states are at-will employers, which means they say, "Oh, I don't like your smile today. Don't come in tomorrow."
Yep.
Where's that steady salary now? But if you create, a blog, or, you create a little online business where you're doing affiliate marketing, well, even if you're working that 9 to 5, at least you have some extra money to back you up. The most riskiest thing you can do is only relying on one source of income.
Absolutely, and I think this kind of pandemic now is especially over here. I don't know if it's the same over in the States, but it's really put that into perspective. That there's companies now, and maybe people don't realise at the moment, they're sitting at home. They've been furloughed. They're receiving some pay, but these businesses, a lot of them aren't going to recover, so they're going to now be unemployed. They need to figure it out. Whereas if you're coming from that viewpoint already, that you're your own boss and you're going to make that happen, you're going to make your money, you're going to be adaptable, and you can evolve what you do to continuously be making money and looking after yourself, then you're going to be in like as you say, it's a much safer position to do that than rely on somebody else for your security, really, I guess.
Yeah, and I've really into software. That I'm always looking for how can I use technology to leverage my life. And people don't realize how easy it is to create a second income where, if you just a little bit of know-to and learning that I can create software, very simple, that I can create a whole book, automatically. You know, get a cover automatically, post it to Amazon automatically. And it doesn't have to be complicated. People overcomplicate very simple stuff because they want to add their 2 cents to, proven systems. And when you follow a proven system and you just plug and play, it's simple. People overcomplicate, making money. They think it's, oh, I need to go 4 years for college for entrepreneurship. And that's the thinking people have been taught, that, only you can only learn something because you pay someone a lot of money to learn it, which is, you can learn anything on YouTube nowadays.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the difference between the mindsets is maybe people have become kind of have this kind of a drone mindset now, where you're just part of the hive, and it's too difficult to go out and do something different. And but they're missing out on such a big opportunity to just feel alive as a human. We're supposed to be constantly kind of looking for new things and looking for new, new adventures. Or what our primitive side is, that we should be looking to always do something more and not just accept where we are and what we're doing. And it's a strange culture that we live in now, where people just accept their fate almost.
Well, if you, I'm a big proponent of looking to history, not just for business, for life, because success leaves clues, and history might not repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And if you look what our education system is based in the early 1900s, when they needed factory workers. Sit in your desk, wait for the bell, raise your hand, and if you don't get called, you get whipped. And that's how we have it get factory workers, do this specific task.
Well, actually, it's interesting. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But what's really interesting about that is, when you think about it, that's what our school system is preparing people to do. The school system currently says, right, you're in class between this time and this time. This is your lunch break. You put your hand up if you want to speak or go to the toilet. It's actually preparing us to be in a factory, more or less.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
We haven't innovated. And, it used to be, 1900s, if you wanted to become wealthy and you were, a poor factory worker, what are your options? Work very hard for 40 years, save up, and maybe be able to own a factory. But, literally, I have 2 phones. This one's like $100 and this one's $1,000. Even with this $100 phone, I can go create a YouTube channel and just start, recording videos and maybe talk about an experience I have. And, watch a few YouTube videos on graphic design, or, something that, even like look up channels that interest you and then create your own version of it.
Yeah, it's such a huge. We're living in a time of such huge opportunity, and people tend to miss out. There's a massive proportion of the population that just miss out on it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, and if you look even beyond the Industrial Revolution, most people were self-employed, in the sense of you you farmed your own food, you milked your own cow, and if I grew mangoes and my neighbor grew apples, we traded. But nowadays we gone away from self-employment, and now most people are employed, and they sell their services to an employer, for some coin.
Yeah, it's a bit scary. It's a bit worrying, in the sense that we're getting away from what we kind of our natural instinct, which, as you say, is to kind of barter and exchange goods and services just between each other, not kind of feeding a huge corporation and just being kind of another cog in that corporation kind of thing.
Well, effectively, we've become bill-paying machines.
Yeah.
What do we work for? What do you look at the average person? What's their income? I need to pay for food. I need to pay for rent. I need to pay for transportation. effectively, that's the majority of people working a whole year to be able to pay for those three things. And though, and one of the things I teach people is, how to leverage credit. That, if you're 18 years old, if you're living at home for a few years, saving money and building your credit score, and then, the time you're 25, you can go buy a whole house and basically rent out 5 rooms and live in the 6, and you got free rent. And, unfortunately, people, not that they don't want to, no one's told them. Everyone's been told, people like me, oh, stay away from them. Because I'm breaking their conditioning. When you go to TV, what do they call it? Programming. They're programming you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary. That conditioning that you've just described is really scary. Because it makes people kind of robotic, and why, like the question is why are people not questioning that conditioning? It's incredible, really.
And out of them. In school, what happens if you draw outside the lines? Oh, sorry, that's not the right answer. But I got the same answer. That's not how we do it here.
Yeah.
And part of, when I do business coaching is helping people sit with a question. Not always, you don't always have to have the answer. Sometimes just sitting with the question and pondering, why is my life the way it is? And people is like, oh, they'll answer right away instead of sitting with it. What are the different ways that are keeping me from being successful? What other ways are there available for me to make some money?
Yeah. And that, I think, that also goes with why we work so many hours, because it doesn't give people time to, as you say, to ponder the question and to just think about it. Just take your time, figure it out. Now everything's put to us that if you can't figure it out immediately, it's not for you. You can't do it.
Yeah. Well, and it used to be that way where, if I'm helping an older person, 50s, 60s, who hasn't grown up with technology, and I'm helping them with the computers, it's like, oh, how do you know that? I don't. I looked it up. I did a web search. And if I don't know something, I can look it up. And, if you asked, someone 100 years ago a complex question, well, where did you have to go? You have to go to the library. You have to do some research. Check multiple sources. Maybe you have to go to the different library. Now, I can just take this and literally have the answer like that.
Yeah.
And that's really, how our world has changed, where it used to have to know knowledge. But now it's about knowing systems and procedures.
Yeah.
When you buy a McDonald's, you're not buying a burger joint. You're buying a system. That I can take this system, a checklist, and it's clearly written that I can take a 16-year-old kid in high school who has no job experience or business experience or flipping burgers experience and show them exactly how to produce a Happy Meal.
Yeah. It's human robotics almost, isn't it? It's you have an assembly instruction of how to create this robot, and that's it. You kind of go through with it, and it's something that's been tried and tested and optimized so that it does keep people in that system and not allow them to expand their mind really and think for themselves, I guess.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the powers that be keep, intentionally people poor because poor people are easier to control. That I think the biggest crime in all of this is people yelling for higher taxes on the rich. Well, the people who pay the highest taxes in ratio to their income are poor people. I have solutions that I can create an offshore company and literally pay zero income tax. Whereas someone who's working 40 hours a week is effectively paying 50% of their working time. That literally the 50% of the year, they're just free to pay the government.
Yeah.
Whereas if I can create a ebook to put on Amazon that literally just generates income when I sleep, I don't have to worry about it. I can go anywhere independent, and the money gets deposited to my bank account.
Yeah, and I think part of the what am I looking for? Part of the plan as well is people are constantly told that that it's wrong to go out on your own, and that you're doing something wrong. You're evading tax. You're doing this. And so again, it's kind of it's also made to feel a little bit criminal as well. A little bit you're not doing the norm really.
Yeah. Well, and like people feel bad about it. Say hiring someone in the Philippines for $600 for a monthly salary. There's most of the jobs that we have in America or in the UK for that matter. Someone in the Philippines who speaks perfect English, who is more than happy to make $600 a month, is living like a king. It's just $600 in the Philippines is beautiful, but we kind of subject ourselves to, I need a living wage. Well, if you want a living wage, you can leverage technology. You don't have to work your butt off. People equate hard work with earning money, and that's not necessarily the case. I don't work that hard because I use systems and processes. Like at the McDonald's example, when do you think you can make a better burger than a McDonald's?
Yeah, absolutely. You could do. You could if yeah.
But why aren't you a $1 billion burger joint?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's because because they've got it down to speed and efficiency, and all of that. So like down to a science. Yeah. Absolutely.
That it's a training, and that's really where the world is going, is automation. Because you can't just tell a robot, accomplish this. You need to have a robot give it a set of instructions. And to a certain extent, you don't, for a human, you give them a set of instructions. So it's much efficient that you can lay out, this is what I need you to do when you're employing someone. And, most employers, or even that matter, kind of just tell people, okay, I need this done, go do it. Instead of giving people, checklist to follow. Okay, this is what we need to do. This is what we need to accomplish. Verify, double check. And, it wastes a lot of time because people aren't efficiently using their time.
Yeah. It's impressive, isn't it? The system that we've now got, it's impressive that in such a short space of time, whether by design or whether by accident, we've created a system that's kind of almost anti-human for the majority of our population. It's pretty interesting.
And that's kind of people don't realize this. My parents always told, you should be a lawyer, you should be an engineer. Excuse me. What people don't realize, most of the job duties of engineers, lawyers, doctors, even for that matter, a robot can do. Artificial intelligence. That an artificial intelligence machine learning program, is on track to better argue than a lawyer, to better research. That it doesn't need to sleep, it doesn't need to eat, it doesn't need time off from maternity leave. That, a lawyer robot could research a case, and then you have a lawyer argue the case in front of the court or the magistrate. Same with a doctor diagnosing diseases, or the engineering programs being able to create a house, automatically. And I think the real opportunity for people is what can't be replaced by a robot in the foreseeable future: creativity, management. That kind of like the arts that. Robots are very good at mathematics and, kind of analytical stuff, but they're not very good at, storytelling. And you see, like, the rise of companies creating storytellers and sales copy and the human touch. As much as robots are going to help the world, we still need to augment that with human connection. There's even though we leveraging technology that I've never been to the United Kingdom, that I can have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
But that never is going to be replaced by me actually flying to UK, shaking your hand, and being there person to person. It's just you just can't replace that human interaction.
Yeah, you're right. Even in things like hospitality, I know McDonald's is a different example of that. But if you go to a restaurant, or you could in Japan, they've got restaurants now where they have robots serving all the food and everything else. But like you say, it's not the same because it's that interaction's not there. So
No, not to get all pseudoscience, but I'm staying right now with a professional chef, and he makes the most beautiful food: lamb chops, fried chicken, and there's a certain love, that when you're putting into food that you can't replicate with a robot. The robots aren't going to love you, or really put into the energy of they're really loving it. And truth and example. I don't know if you're familiar with Jack Canfield, author of Chicken Soup for the Soul.
no, I'm not. No, I'll check him out.
Okay, yeah, that's a big time book in the States. Jack Campbell, Chicken Soup for the Soul, and there's a lot of series. And he's, I believe, one of the best-selling authors of all time, except for the Bible, and J.K. Rowling. And I did a training with him, and he showed us the real power of people putting their thoughts and energy. That people, when you're thinking a thought, when you're directing ill will at someone, people actually feel that. If you ever looked at someone from behind and their shirt is up, they didn't see you looking at them, but immediately they put their shirt down. Because we have those senses of, people watching them. They didn't know, they just, oh, my shirt's up. They just had that feeling. They didn't know that someone's looking at them. And there's like a human connection that people take for granted, that they think that, it's the same, seeing you over Skype. But no.
No. Do you think that our culture and our society now is kind of now with all this pandemic, the coronavirus, where everybody's now got more time, nobody's going to work, everybody's got more time to kind of think about things. Do you feel that the corporations that kind of run everything as it is at the moment, and the governments, do you think they're trying to kind of ever more isolate us away from that human touch, and try and kind of make it normal that we don't actually connect because of what you've just said? That because when you meet somebody, you have a connection that goes beyond. I'm talking about in person. You have a connection that goes beyond seeing them, talking to them. There is 100%. There's something else, something to do with a connection outside of your physical almost. And I wonder if the governments and the corporations are trying to take that away from us a little bit.
Well, and that goes back to what I said before. It's very easier to control someone who's by themselves than in a group of people. That we could be isolated, and it weighs on people's mental health. Not having that human interaction. I don't know if you're familiar with the story, but during World War II, when there was all the bombings in the United Kingdom, there was a lot of orphans, young children that their fathers and mothers were tragically killed. And the orphanage provided the food, shelter, water, all the clothing, the basic needs for these children. And they were finding that all these children were dying, and they just couldn't figure out why. They got the food they needed, they got the water they needed, they got the clothing they needed, any health care. They just, withered away and died. And they found that simply by picking up the children and hugging them, that the children lived. That human connection, that feeling the warmth of, a motherly grasp.
Yeah.
And people, discount it to, when they're having their own kids, even today, mothers are so, excited to, I had my kid, feed them for a few moments and then right back to work. But they don't realize that, who's raising your kids? That it's, who's there to hug your kid when they cry? Some teacher being paid $10 an hour to deal with a crying kid that, do they really care about your kid?
Yeah, it's a tough system because you're absolutely right with that. But it's a sad way to look at it. But I'm thinking, why? So if you do put all of your energy and effort into spending all your time raising your child and giving them all that love that they require and everything else, in the modern day, like kind of, unless you can open their mind as they get kind of towards their teenage years and everything else, what are you doing it for? Because you're just doing it to put them into a kind of a system, to creating another battery for the system, and you put it into the machine. And so there's more now. I think that it's really, really essential that children are looked after by the parents and taught things that we're talking about now, kind of critical thinking, think for yourself, learn different skills and all of that side. It's kind of, you've got to really, really, if you don't, they're kind of being prepared for a life of servitude almost.
Oh, exactly. And, there's, if you ever look, see a young child that, oh, why is this? And they'll keep on asking you why and why and why. And, most children, that's beaten out of them, not literally, but they'll say, oh, don't ask questions. And kids, they shut up and do what they're told. And they don't question, why is the world the way it is? Why do I have to go, job? And then if they do ask, it's frowned up upon because, oh, you're supposed to get, your job. You're supposed to get a career, you're supposed to get a pension. But, most even people who work 40 years for a pension, their pensions are bankrupt.
Yeah.
And people, accept what they're told at face value, and they don't challenge like, is this the truth? Or, is it what shade of the truth? They just accept something as either truth or fact that they either accept it or don't, rather than, try it on. Like kind of trying on a hat. Just check if it fits. Doesn't mean if you have to accept it, but sometimes it's just ponder.
Yeah, and connected to that as well, I was watching. I don't know if you've heard of Alan Watts, philosopher he was 1670s kind of philosopher from the UK. He spent a lot of time in the US as well, but I was listening to him the other day, and it was something really interesting that he said to do with pondering and not rushing any of your decisions, was that the system that we live in we're always in it to prepare us for another stage. So we're always told you must be preparing for your exam. So you prepare to go to high school, you then prepare to go to college, you prepare to then eventually you prepare to go to work. Once you're at work, you prepare because you've got an end of year budget coming up, and you prepare. So you're always kind of put pressure on right from the start to get to the end of a stage to move up to prepare you for the next stage. Where the reality is, as humans, we should be relaxing into whatever we're doing, kind of as you say, pondering it, relaxing into it, taking on all the information. There's no rush to kind of get to the next level. Get everything you can out of that one experience. Make sure that you're absorbing all of that experience, kind of thing, not rushing to get to the end of it.
Yeah, well, and there's two, ideas that I've learned is, like climbing a mountain with no top. If you ask a professional mountain climber, why do you climb? If you ask the regular civilian, oh, why do you think a mountain climber climbs? Oh, to get to the summit. But if you ask the mountain climber, no, to enjoy the challenge of the climb, and to, how can I get, maybe not there faster, but enjoying the view along the way, and, reaching higher, and the difficulty of going higher and higher. And, people have lost the art of enjoying the climb of life rather than, racing to get to the end. And, people end up living their whole lives, doing what they're told, just to find out that, what did I do with my life?
Yeah.
And, basically they'll, grow up, go to school, get a college degree, go work for 40 years, and they get to their life and it's like, what did I accomplish? I earned all this money, but, I can't do anything with it beyond the grave. And, they pass away, they put dirt on their face, and their family just goes eat some little sandwiches.
Yeah.
What kind of life is that?
Yeah. I guess it's when people ask, where are you going? Where are you going with your life? The answer...
Or who are you going to be?
Yeah, the answer should always, for me, the answer should always be I don't know.
But
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah, I don't know. But the answer, what I'm really doing is I'm enjoying the experiences. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for where am I going, and because that future hasn't come round yet. You're still, this is the moment that you're in at the moment. Enjoy what's going on now, more than where are you going kind of thing.
Yeah, well, there's a beautiful story that I've heard multiple times in different places, but it's a universal truth. Is picture a young man in Mexico, 18 years old, strapping young man. In the morning he'll fish for a few hours, catch a few fish, take the fish, and go by the fire, cook them on the fire, gathering with his friends, having a few beers, playing the guitar, and just having a good old time. And, that's a decent life. And then one day, an American businessman comes up to him, looks, his day and sees these fishes. Then he just goes, beers, and he says to the young man, "Oh, why do you only fish a few hours a day? If you fish more, you can sell the extra fish and make a profit." And the young man asks him, "Okay, and then what?" "Well, with that extra profit, then you can hire other young men to fish more and sell those fish." And the young man goes, "Okay, then what?" "Well, then, with those extra profit from all those other men, you can buy a boat and catch even more fish and sell that and make even more money." And the young man says, well, then what?" "Well, then you keep on repeating that, buying more and more boats until you have a whole fleet. And you're making all this money." And the young man says, "Okay, and then what?" "Well, after 40 years of doing that, you have enough boats and enough profit. You can sell that. And then you can go fish for a few hours, enjoy a few beers with your friends, and play guitar at the fire." And that's effectively what people do, is they'll work all their life, just to retire to do what they, wanted to do as children.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah. People have lost sight, haven't they've lost sight of the good things in life, the things that are worth holding on to.
Yeah, and the flip side of the coin is the people who work so hard that, for their children, that they forget that, hey, your children's right here, and that's really, the other side is, yeah, it's great to earn a living, and, I knew a gentleman who, worked for many, many years to build a, financial services empire, for his children, but his children grew up without a father present at home. That he's literally working from, as soon as he wakes up to as soon as he goes to bed, and both sides of the coin. You can't earn nothing and not provide anything for your family, but you can't work, an infinite amount of hours, and that's where leveraging technology comes in. That you can supplement your income, and no one needs to be a gazillionaire, but I think it's very freeing to be able to earn, replace your full-time income with residual income.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, financial freedom, isn't it? That's the ultimate goal, really.
Yeah, and people think, financial freedom, they think the evils of, hot cars and hot women and mega mansions, but, real financial freedom is, if you're making $60,000 a year, well, if you replace that income and it's just coming in every month, well, you can live anywhere. You can live in Bali, Indonesia, like a king for $60,000 a year. You basically have your own mansion.
Yeah.
Check your email a few times a day, and the money comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I understand, connected to kind of mental health and things and freedom. I understand that you kind of enjoy the outdoors as well, and so that's something that you're into. Is there a lot of good outdoor places kind of where you are?
Oh, yes, definitely. There's plenty of, outdoors. The great thing about America, it's very diverse, not only in people, but in landscapes. That, I could be in the city in Philadelphia, and I could literally drive an hour west, and I could be out in farm country.
Right.
And, where else in the world can, you can travel from, the mountain top. If you live out in California on the West Coast, you could be skiing in the morning and surfing in the night.
Right.
Yeah.
Or in the mountains the next day. And the lovely mountains.
Yeah.
New Mexico, for example.
Sure. What's your favourite kind of if you had a couple of weeks off and you could go anywhere near to you, what's the best place to go?
I love going fishing with my dad upstate New York with Pulaski, the Salmon River.
Right.
And there's a certain relaxation to just being in the river. It's not just about catching fish. It's just relaxing and not having to worry about how many emails, with no cell service and no calls. If I need to make a call, I go hike a mile to get cell service. But there's a certain grace to just the quietness of the river, hearing the water flow, amongst your waders, and the occasional fish on, fish, and have a little battle. But
yeah, it's more than the actual fishing, isn't it?
A lot.
Yeah, it's just being able to, relax.
Yeah, I was saying to my wife recently. We went for a walk. I live in Wales at the moment, and so we went for a walk in just the local hills, and there's a few little streams there, that sort of thing. And we're saying that there's something really primitive about water, isn't there? The feeling, kind of the feeling that you get from water moving around you, and the sound and the smell, and there's something really primitive that touches you.
Yeah, water, fire. There's being on the starry night. I will never forget the feeling I had when I was a young Boy Scout, and I was in the Adirondacks, like the middle of nowhere, New York, and there was a clear night, and they turned off the camp generator and all the lights, and I look up, and you can see the entire universe of all the stars.
Yeah.
And there's a missing, being in, there's a few stars here in Philadelphia, but there's nothing like being out in the middle of nowhere, look up in the sky and seeing the Milky Way.
Yeah, and you can almost fit. They're so bright that you can almost touch it. You feel like you can reach up and touch it. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's so sad that there's a lot of people who don't ever have this experience. It's
Well, many years ago in California, they had a massive massive earthquake, and all the power went out, and people were calling the emergency line, like, scared. What's that in the sky? Had never seen the Milky Way.
Oh God.
People, live their whole lives without, going into the outdoors, and that life isn't just about working and being in the city and nightlife. It's a whole world, a whole universe out there.
How could it? So something that's just popped into my mind. How could you bring that world to people who need it? And the people who I think need it are those people that we've already discussed, who are in kind of the lower working classes. They work in factories. They never kind of see their children. They never. It's a real struggle. Life's a real struggle. I think it'd really benefit those people to go and have those experiences. But I don't know how, short of kind of starting up a charity or a foundation, I don't know how you would allow those people who need every penny that they make to pay all their bills and everything else. I don't know how you would be able to take them away from what they're doing, stuck in their life, to something like that, to give them that experience, because it'd really awaken them, I think.
Yeah, and I think people always say giving handouts and charity. The expression, you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach a man how to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And if you give a man someone else's fish, he'll vote for you.
I've not heard that last one. That's good.
Yeah, but it's really not about giving people money or paying for their trip. There's a real honor to teaching someone a skill of making a YouTube video, or doing affiliate marketing, that it's you earn some extra money, and it compounds. that really most of the things that I do and teach people, you can do an hour or two a day extra. Most of the time people are watching, videos just to be brain dead, but instead use that time to learn a skill, and over the course of a year, learning how to build your credit, how to make a blog post. People don't invest in their education. They think there's a quote from Mark Twain, the author, that I never let my schooling get in the way of my education.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And people, think that, I've been to college, I've been to high school, I know everything. And they stop learning. And as soon as you say, I've got there, you're done.
Absolutely.
And it's, learning something of use, And, I think the sad thing is we teach people to go start a family, or on purpose or on accident, without having a secure financial foundation of earning passive or residual income. And it's very hard to, for me, if I'm wanted to go pick up and leave and go somewhere, the only mouth I'm responsible to feed is my own.
Yeah.
But when you have little ones that are depending on, Mommy, what's for dinner tonight? You really can't look at them and say, we don't have anything to eat. But if I wanted to take a risk and I wanted to use my food money to, start a business, I could go hungry, but I could never do that with my kids.
Yeah. And I think life happens to people, doesn't it? Unfortunately, instead of you taking advantage of life tends to just happen to people, and then they get stuck in that cycle, like you say, of kind of a life that they would never have planned out if they could have done from the start. So, yeah, I'd love to be able to not wake people up, but give them the opportunity to see an alternative to what they're living, kind of thing. But I don't know if people are always ready for that, or if they're scared of taking that leap of faith, or I don't know. It's a shame.
And I kind of use like the Matrix example that people don't want to wake up. They like living in the illusion that that gourmet steak they're eating is real, but in reality they're in some gooey pod, hooked up to a machine. Most people rather be in the illusion that everything's fine and this is the way it is, and people think that why would I give up my gourmet life for suffering? But sometimes you have to make a sacrifice in the short term for the long term potential.
Yeah. I think that there are some people out there who possibly don't see that. It's not that maybe they don't want. So there are the people who don't want to see it, but then there's the people who can't see it because they've been conditioned that deeply. They don't think there's another way. They don't understand that there's another way. I don't think some people.
Yeah. I think that the crux of the issue is people don't understand that they are the way they are and their life is the way it is because of a choice. It's not a choice until you realize it's a choice. But when you really understand that your life is the way it is because of a choice, whether it's your choice or future past generations' choices, but in any moment you can choose something different.
Yeah. Any moment you can choose to just get up out of your seat and go and change something now. You can go and you don't like your job, go and apply for new jobs. Go and whatever it is,
Well, and people, won't, even take the time to see what's available. I'll see videos about interesting jobs that people have never heard of, and there's so many different, jobs and careers that people with no fancy degrees or background can learn and do.
Yeah.
People can become an insurance agent and sell a few policies, and make more money than they did an entire month.
Yeah.
Helping people with their, regular needs. And it's just, people don't understand that there's more available to life than what they've been told.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I lived for a few years in Colombia in South America, and I saw down there kind of the life, as far as I'm concerned, real life. So life as it kind of as it should be. So people go out and they, like you said, similar to your story about the Mexican guy fishing. People will go out and they'll maybe farm or they'll go out and fish, and then that's it. That's all you do for the day. You come back quite early. You're with your family. Everybody kind of sits together on a patio and just talks and has a coffee and there's something that happens when people get together like that, and where you just everybody's connected and everybody feels kind of on a real harmonious kind of frequency. I don't know what it is, but there's something that goes on, and that's kind of when you think about our distant past, our ancestors, that's how in our cultures it used to be also, is time was spent in the family and time. So yeah, so we're kind of lacking that now, and people don't, as you say, people who work 60 hours a week don't realize that that's not what you should be doing.
No, and kind of my advocating for people is, when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, yeah, you should be working 60 hours a week for a few years, saving up money, starting businesses, taking some risks. But, that's in order to set a foundation. By the time you're 25, you set yourself up for success for the rest of your life. People, it becomes hard mode trying to make that switch into entrepreneurship when you're 35, 45, 50, when you lived an entire life, and as we get older, we get less energetic, and less energy to do stuff. And I wish I had a mentor like me that told me, okay, do this, for the next, as soon as you turn 18, skip college, just start a business, work 60 hours a week, ask your parents for cheap rent, pay them, $500 a month, and, use that money to reinvest to, get your own house that it pays for itself. That, investing in real estate, investing in online, courses. And, by the time you're 25, 30, I'm 28 now, I'm, getting to the point that I don't want to be busting my butt, 60 hours a week. But, I kind of have to, make up for lost time. And that's the most valuable asset that people kind of miss out is time.
Yeah.
That they don't understand how valuable a second is.
Mm. And if we were to teach our children, as you say, it's quite interesting. If you teach our children those kind of important lessons through as they're growing up through school, rather than just school on its own, then you end up with or college or whatever. You end up with somebody who's really prepared for the modern world, really set up, ready to go. Rather than, I guess it's because I'm 10 years older than you, but I guess it's I guess for our generation it's because of our generation, really, because the time has modernized faster than, do you know what I mean? Like, we haven't caught, our generation wasn't really prepared for that, I guess.
Well, and if you look at like the different generations, from the silent generation to the baby boomers to Gen X to millennials to Gen Z, there's totally different markets, totally different experiences. The other day I was helping an older woman who was 80-something with a computer, and I thought to myself, I could only imagine what it could be like to live pretty much an entire lifetime not having technology, and then all of a sudden, how do you keep up with your friends? It's just a wild new world, that she grew up, with, if you wanted to talk to your friends, you go across the street. Nowadays, we just pick this up and, oh, I'm with my friends, but are we?
There'll be something else similar to that for us, I would imagine, when we're older as well. I think, there'll be something that blows our mind as well that wasn't around. So it's interesting.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, if you brought back a smartphone 100 years ago to, someone, just a modern day citizen, and told them this little device, not only can it tell the time to perfect precision, I can reach out to someone from across the world in real time, interact with them.
By video, maybe.
All video,
Yeah.
see their face, and look up any piece of information that I could in any library around the world. They'd think you're a wizard.
Yeah, I mean, even I think in was it Back to the Future 2? I think that they were kind of saying using that as a futuristic thing that you would see somebody kind of on a big screen and talk to them and back then that was wild that to think like that.
They were saying the idea for video TV, video conference has been around since for before I was born, when my dad was a child and he's 70 something. And it's amazing how much technology has. And I think what the Gen Z, the younger generation, realizes the traps of technology. That how much it could be an addiction.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, when you go to the casino, when you see the slots, what do you see? Oh, flashing bright lights. Because our little primitive brains are addicted to that. Ooh, shiny object. Well, what's blowing, shiny inner eyes and, affects our sleep, affects our mood. People don't realize the power of light and LED lights. The type of light, having an LED light that's harsh will, be agitating. People, agitated and irritable. Well, it's because the light. Where we used to have incandescent light bulbs that are soft, gentle glows. Yeah. Now everything's like a bright in our face, and they actually use LED technology to help people with depression. Yeah. Because it raises your mental state. Well, for someone who doesn't have depression, it can go too far and become irritable and kind of manic.
Yeah. No, I think tech is definitely it's a real it's bad. It's great. It's really, really good. But the addictive nature of it's so damaging for young people now. When they kind of can't disconnect from social media, from the games that they play. I think it's really damaging.
Well, what do they give 3-year-olds now? They give them iPads and tablets, and instead of learning how to interact with people, they're learning how to interact with, Siri and Alexa. And I've heard stories of kids given the Siri and Alexa commands, like, they're, really, not nice. Yeah. And, Alexa and Siri's, oh, hi, I'll take care of your needs, but, they'll grow up and learn that, oh, you can't talk to me like that. And, there's people that, stuff you can say online that you can't say to someone in front of them.
Absolutely, and,
and that goes back to, used to be if I'm offended, well, you dueled. Now it's like, oh, I'm offended. Okay, yes. Well, and it becomes the, oh, you're a bad person. Oh, okay, I said what I said.
Well, it used to be that you would free speech was kind of, or should, in my opinion, free speech is really, really important. You should be able to say whatever you want, however heinous or disgusting it is. You should be allowed to say it, but you then need to realise that you need to deal with the repercussions and take whatever comes back at you, and so that's fair enough, in my opinion.
And that's what free speech is. I can say whatever I want, and there's going to be consequences to whatever I say, good or bad. And people just want to monitor free speech. That if you say something I don't like, oh, you're a bad person. Well, not necessarily. But we've kind of lost the art of sticking up for one's honor.
That's right. Yeah.
Instead of, hey, you shouldn't say that, hey, that's offensive. It's like you get shadow banned and, your tongue cut out.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas, yeah, it should be that you, and it's again, for me, human instinct is that it's healthy to have that when you disagree with somebody, that conflict that comes with it. That's healthy because that gets out that feeling that you've got inside you. You're both figuring it out between you. And so at the end of it, you can kind of say, okay, we've dealt with it and it's over and it's done, and we've either changed our opinions or we haven't, but at least we've said what we wanted to say, kind of thing.
And it used to be, when two young men in high school had a disagreement, you go out back and duke it out. Mm-hmm. And as long as you don't, go for the coup de grace, it's like, okay, we're going to shake hands and, be done with it. Mm-hmm. But nowadays, we let it fester because, if you hit back, you're going to get suspended. And, we treat suspension as like, it's a death knell because, you go to college where you were suspended. Oh, we don't want you here. Stay in line or else, you go to the virtual gulag. Yeah. Instead of like, hey, young boys need to duke it out sometimes. As long as no one's bashing it in any heads, it's healthy to get out those frustrations in a, relatively healthy manner.
Yeah, and it also
not like advocating violence, but it's small doses, to get out that frustration, so it doesn't, become over the top school shooting.
I'm on the same page with you on that. I agree. I think small that as men, we have that inside us. We have that nature to want to express our aggression. And I think it's healthy to do that in the right way and not taking it too far.
Well, if you think about it, if you look at going to the school system and the rise of single motherhood, well, most young men are being raised by women. Most teachers are women. Most families are a single mother. There's no positive role. Male figure. And, when I was younger, I stepped out of line. I was a good kid for the most part, but there's times where I stepped out of line. And my dad gave me corrective, action.
Yeah.
And, hey, I learned don't do that again. And the thing is, a mom's not going to be doing that, or she's going to do it in a way that doesn't, is not appropriate for a young man to, be hit by a woman. Whereas, if you're being hit by a man, because you kind of have to respect your father, but you can't really fight back with your mother. And, the rise of women who don't have a healthy relationship with men because they don't have a father figure. How to talk to men correctly. How does my mother talk to my father and back and forth.
Yeah. I think for boys as well, it's the same for both boys and girls. No, it's without a father figure or without. I mean, there are families now with kind of the father takes the role and the mother, for whatever reason, is absent. It's right. You need the optimum is to have the two, because I don't want to bash any single parents because it's such a tough job, and but you do need kind of the optimum. Yeah.
Yeah. Life happens, and that brings up another point is choosing a partner that people kind of now with online dating they swipe right, we match, we must like each other, and then adult relations are so easy to come by that we love each other, and then that's the foundation of the relationship, where it used to be that you got to know someone before you hopped into bed with them.
Yeah.
People trust people with things in the bedroom, but they can't even trust people with their bank account.
Yeah.
I think the thing with kind of on apps and dating apps and things like that, and because it is just they are just kind of sex apps. It's just hookup apps, isn't it? And I think that thinking about it from a primitive standpoint, the reason for that is that as humans, we have an attraction based on it's a sexual attraction that we have initially based on the physical form and everything else. So if that's all you're seeing, if that's the only sense you're using in that judgment of who you're going to choose, then of course that's what it's going to lead to, because that's what it's based on. But when you meet people in real life, you're using all of your senses. So you're listening to them. You like their voice, you like the way they talk, their smell, their kind of. I imagine pheromones play a big part as well, even though we don't kind of realise that that's happening. So it's all of those things, isn't it, that kind of form more balanced view of who you'd like as your partner, I guess.
Well, it goes back to kind of the distance of the anonymity of the internet. You go to 1,000 people on the internet and ask them if you want to hook up. Well, you're going to get a lot of shove off responses, but at the end of the day, nothing's going to happen. They slink away, and then those are going to be people who say, "Oh yeah, let's come to my place tonight." But if you did that in real life to 1,000 women, you're going to get a heck of a lot of slappings before you got an answer you liked. And it becomes commoditized that there's a study that 80% of women, like the top 80% of women, are only liking and messaging back the top 20% of men.
Right.
You can't have 80% of the female population all wanting 666, 6 figures, 6 pack, 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
That's just like literally 5%, 1% of the population.
Yeah.
But online dating's been about 80% of the women trying to find that one magical man, and then there's some women who have standards so high that man doesn't exist.
No.
Or if he does, he found someone who's exponentially more valuable than you.
Yeah, so maybe it's just a case of it's the people are using the wrong system to get to their goal, their kind of end game. That's not the right end game to be playing.
Yeah. No, well, and people spend countless hours, swiping on their phone looking for a date, going on dates instead of starting an online business, creating money, and then paying a headhunter to do it for you. Or using your free time now I don't have to worry about working to make an income. Then go find a date using your free time to go out and meet people.
That's it, yeah.
But we've kind of substituted human interaction with virtual connection.
Yeah, and like you say, then you miss out some vital senses that we would have used in the past, I guess.
Well, if you think about it, if back in the early 1900s or even before that, if you wanted to find a mate, well, you didn't have a car to go drive for the next date over. If you didn't have a horse and buggy, you had to rent it from your dad. You're not going to go say, "Hey, I want to go take the horse and buggy that we use for business to go find a woo woman a few states over." No, you have the people in your community. You interact with them. You like what you like, and you got what you got. But nowadays, I can find a woman in Australia, interact with her, and literally fly over there tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's like a dual-edged sword that it could be of great good or great evil. With any great tool. Like the nuclear fission. It could be used for nuclear energy to power the world, or it could be used to destroy lives. And that's really the duality of any technology that we have to wrestle with. Am I doing this for good or doing it for evil?
Yeah. It's a really, really good way to think about it. Yeah, and that's maybe what we need to teach kids, that there are two kind of sides to tech. There's the good side, and it's a really good thing to learn and use, and the other side is if it's used in the wrong way, it can really do harm to you, I guess. Yeah.
And that's with anything in life. That a classical hammer, a claw hammer that we use to drive in nails, is used in most of the violent crime in America.
Right. Yeah.
It's people you can use it to easily accessible, use it to build a house, or do it to smash some watermelons.
Yeah.
And that's with anything in life. And I think we don't teach children to respect the power of nature or tools, respect the power of fire or water or health. That, either I can eat food to sustain my body or I can use it to destroy it. I can take medicine to augment myself and, help my health, or I can use it to hurt myself. And I think that's really the most, valuable lesson I could teach someone is, am I can I use my skills and my assets and my gifts? Am I using it for good or for evil?
Mm.
You know, like they say, hell's paved with good intentions.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, no, but yeah, no, it's got to be. Yeah, I guess that's something that's a bit lacking. I guess today with kind of parents today is not doing it that right way, because they're so busy. They're not, like you say, they're not teaching that the children to make that choice. And I think to make the kids independent is the best thing you can do. To whenever they reach a junction, to make the right choice. So is this the right way to go, or is drinking 10 beers a night, is that the right way to go, or just having a moderate couple of beers with your friends? Do you know what I mean? And
yeah. Well, it becomes a discernment process. We don't teach kids discernment. You know, we kind of teach them, oh, this is the right answer, that's the wrong answer, but that's not how life works.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of gray.
Yeah.
You know, what's your limit with drinking, for example? You know, you can either use it to have a good time, or you can use it to destroy your life and your liver.
Mm.
And you know, we've the kind of the generations before us have been teaching their kids. They've the snowplow generation, where everything's been snowplowed in front of them instead of them shoveling their own route in life.
Yeah, very true. It's a shame, but I don't know. Hopefully we can get back there one day. I guess that's the ultimate goal, I guess, as a culture.
Yeah, and I think that, looking at kind of the statistics and seeing where the generation's going is they're very entrepreneurial. That they realize, with the rise of the gig economy and blogging and TikTok and YouTube and, all these platforms, that they understand the concept, if not like fully fleshed out, but they kind of get the idea of the concept of 1,000 rabid followers. If you have 1,000 really solid fans that are willing to pay $100 a month to be in a community with you, that's $100,000 a year. $120,000 a year from 1,000 people who will just slowly pay you $100 a month. That you're helping them. Or any multiple of that, and really, I can, a stone throw find 1,000 people in Philadelphia that want to learn, financial education. And that's really, the opportunity is being kind of like that, not really the guru on top of the mountain, but kind of like the leader for people. That people think that I need to be the leader of the full free world to be financially independent, but, you can replace your income with, a few hundred people, paying you every month to be in a community.
Absolutely.
Pay $150 to buy software to create a membership site and charge people just for the privilege of being in the membership site and adding content.
Yeah, I mean, if you can give value, that's really interesting. If you can give really valuable information to people that's going to help them in their life, you don't need to be that, like you say, that guru, that number one. That it's more valuable for you to be more relatable with them. So if you're when you look at a lot of these gurus online and they say, oh, I'm making, I don't know, 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever it is, it's almost a little bit unattainable, and you think, actually, is it true what they're saying and everything else? But if there's somebody who's actually, look, I've done this, and this is how I've done it, and I can show you how to do it for you, and like you say, people relate to that, and it's anybody can do it.
Well, and like I said earlier, sometimes financial freedom is not just about making 7 figures a month and driving fancy cars and McMansions. It's replacing your income. That if you don't want to work tomorrow, you don't, and you still have money getting paid. But most people don't have that luxury because they didn't sacrifice the time to learn how to create an online platform or create content. Like you're creating a YouTube channel now that people 10 years from now is going to view this video, and you're going to get paid on it.
Yep.
And that's, truly what residual income is, you create something today and, you have the viewers that you have now, but 10 years down the line, when we're both famous, well, this video is going to pay you X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
People going all the way back in time, and people don't realize that, why am I making a YouTube video, spending an hour or two recording it? I'm not earning that much right now, but it's not about earning now, it's earning it years from now.
Yeah.
And
it's about putting that content out, isn't it? It's about having, because just talking about, because it's what I'm doing at the moment with YouTube, just putting out 1, 2, 3 videos isn't enough, but people think that it is. People think, oh well, I've put my video out. I should be earning now. I should be earning some money. It's not. It's a process, and you just need to know what the game is. The game is quality and quantity of content, so that people can look back and kind of pick up on what they enjoy from your work, really.
Well, and people, have the mindset of, oh, if I work today, my paycheck should come in 2 weeks. That's not what entrepreneurship's about. Like I teach people, it's great to have active income, or flipping those burgers to pay the bills. No one should be suffering, being the entrepreneur in the present for the hopes of future returns. But, you work your 40 hours a week, earn your coin, be able to pay your bills, and use that extra time instead of being brain dead on the telly, using it to learn a skill and then, build a business, earn some income, write a book. And I think people think that, because I'm a C student or, I'm a D student, that, they're dumb. But, like you said, education kind of teaches one form of learning. And there's a famous quote by Albert Einstein. Everyone's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life thinking it's dumb.
Yeah.
And everyone has a different skill. People try to be a first baseman because first basemen in baseball make more money, but maybe they're an awesome outfielder.
Yeah.
And instead of being a so-so first baseman, because first basemen on average make more money, you can be the #1 all-star outfielder.
Yeah.
And make more money than you struggling to be a first baseman.
Yeah.
And that's really, teaching people is people try to reinvent the wheel. That they see the hot fad. That's the next thing, instead of kind of carving out their own path and utilizing their own gifts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing that's connected with that, carving out your own path, is there's another quote is nobody's a prophet in their own land. And so in addition to that as well is if you feel that where you live there's not the opportunity, whatever your passion is, if there's not that opportunity there, for example, if you're very good at, I don't know, you might be great at surfing, but you might live really far inland and maybe get to move. If you're going to be the next big thing, move and go and kind of pursue that dream kind of thing.
And that's the leap of faith that people aren't willing to take. Is there's that moment that you have a choice. Do I pursue my dreams, or do I pursue the dreams that other people have and make them realize their dreams?
Yeah. And you wouldn't expect people to choose the second option at all.
No, but they do every day.
Yeah.
And there's a time and place to learn from someone who's been there, done that, and they're good at what they're doing because they learned from someone else, and to kind of submit to the system. But once you've mastered the system, kind of like in martial arts, that you can't mix styles until you master jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You can't. Then you can't mix it with kung fu until you master kung fu. But once you master, at least got the basics of the system, and you learn from that particular vertical, well, then you mix it up.
Yeah.
You kind of synergize.
Yeah.
And then you say, okay, now because I've mastered those, now I can see something that other people can't see because I've learnt these two skills now. And
Yeah, because I had a coach who, for a business coach, and he was giving an example with tennis that he would, hire different instructors because each instructor had a different way of doing things. And, if you go to one coach, he'll tell you to do it this way. And you'll get a certain result. And go to another coach, he'll tell you a different way, you'll get a certain result. And then the real value in getting coaching is then synergizing. There's kind of a middle ground that fits my style. And that brings up a point is most people don't get a coach.
Yeah.
In the first place, in life, that they'll, they see the wonderful Olympic athletes, performing on the grand stage, but they forget that they've been training with a coach, 5, 6, 7 days a week, many hours a day. That's their job. People see he swam really fast in that moment, but they don't see that, Michael Phelps swam hours and hours a day. Literally, he had to eat like 12,000 calories of McDonald's just to sustain how much energy he was burning.
Yeah.
And, people see the finished product and say, oh, I wish that could be me. But they, you open up the curtain, well, this is what it's going to take. I'm like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But then they'll, suffer through that amount of time that, they could have got to that Olympic status in whatever field they're in. And then it's like, I wish I took that harder route.
Yeah. I think that's where coaches can bridge that gap a little bit, in those moments where, so a coach will obviously give you information that you wouldn't otherwise have because they're kind of more advanced and more expert in that area. But also coaches are great for, whether it's in sports or business or whatever else, is when a person's kind of ready to give up and ready to kind of say, okay, I'm this is it, I don't know if I can do this. That's what a coach is there for, is to say, no, you can do this, and kind of give you that lift and
You are doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it was the Navy SEALs, like David Goggins, that he said that when you hit the wall, you only hit 40% of your potential.
Yeah.
And no one on themselves is going to break through that 40%. They feel like they're about to die.
Yeah.
But when you have a coach who knows what's possible for you, that to get up on your feet and let's keep on going.
Yeah.
And people don't value the mental game. People value the physical, or buff. But they did a study about chess athletes, and I call them athletes because they found how many calories they were burning during the course of a chess tournament.
Right.
The mental fortitude, the mental processing power of spending hours, laboriously thinking about their moves. That's a task in and of itself.
Yeah.
And people neglect the mental game. They there's people who care about their health. They'll think about the physical game and I look buff or whatever, the 6-pack, but they forget about the mental acuity and fortitude and the persistence. It's being able to go at a task and risk looking foolish.
That's a really big one. Is people? I think people defeat themselves on that before anything else. They think or they believe that they're going to fail. So it's okay. So it's easier that I don't do it because otherwise I'm going to fail.
And the truth is, because they think they do, so it is.
Yeah.
And that's what really is the mental game is. I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
If you think you can, if you think you can't, you're right.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
And people are their own worst enemies when it comes to the mental game. That they'll listen to their friends and family. You're crazy starting a business. You should do this X and Y. And at the end of the day, people will tell you what they think you should live, but they don't. They look at their own life and like, okay, how much money are you earning passively?
Yeah.
I previously, had dealt with 2 severe injuries and I didn't have residual income. It was tough.
Yeah.
That I was in the process of trying to learn and create income for myself, but unfortunately, I was able to get, fortunately I was able to get through it, but unfortunately I didn't have, the financial foundation of being able to collect a paycheck, whether or not I was working.
Yeah.
Just to pay the bills.
Yeah, yeah. It's a choice, isn't it? It's a choice. Do you want to kind of keep struggling through and just do what you need to do, or do you want to free yourself up and be?
Yeah. And sometimes you gotta, struggle through the pain. The school of hard knocks is an expensive and arduous journey that I've been through. But once you master that, you realize, oh, I'm glad that's over.
Yeah.
Because people, it's like, pulling off a Band-Aid. I'm a hairy guy, and, there's a certain, wanting to, slowly creep off the Band-Aid. But, it's kind of like if someone just ripped it off, like it hurts for a moment, but then you're fine. Instead of people choose the laborious, long, creeping pull of the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I'm a jumping feet first type of guy, so it's like the analogy I think of is jumping off a cliff into the sea. That kind of nerves and that feeling, just go for it, because that it's worth taking that risk and jumping in for that euphoria when you're in there and you've kind of done it. And it's the same with life, isn't it? With business and everything else, just take the risk. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You just pick yourself up again and go again.
The greatest business, when it comes to taking risk, are you familiar how casinos make money?
In what way?
In terms of when you go to the roulette wheel, for example.
Yeah.
There's 36 different, red and black numbers.
Yeah.
And then there's 0 and 00.
Yeah.
If I put $10 on the number 1, whether it's black or red, I forgot. Doesn't matter. But if it's the wheel spins around and it lands on 2, I lose my $10. Okay, well, that's fair. Well, on average, 1 out of every 30 times, you put a ball on the wheel over a period of time, it's going to land on 1. But how the casinos make money, when it lands on 2 and you put it on 1, they take your $10. But when you put $10 on 1, it lands on 1. Fair, and net equal rate of return, you get paid out 38 times. They only pay out 35 times.
Right.
So you lose when you lose, and you lose when you win.
Yeah.
And in business, it's maximizing your odds. Where I could, in baseball, if, you make, swing the ball 200 times out of 1,000, you're a genius. Well, in business, you only have to, hit a home run once in 1,000.
Yeah.
And as long as you're, doing activities and investing your time and money into net positive return activities.
Yeah.
If you're doing the net negative where you're betting on the lotto and the casino hoping to win big, yeah, some people do. But over the long run, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
But in business, it's taking those calculated risks. Okay, if I, invest $10 and, it's going to be a 1% chance of winning, how much money do I have to make in return to make it worth my while?
Yeah. And like you say, it's only in business and kind of even in kind of the content creation environment, it only takes that one. So as you say, you keep working, you keep doing, but it only takes that one moment, that one kind of moment where you hit it, and that's it. Then it's kind of because you've got all of that work backed up behind you that you've already done. Yeah,
it's spending that $10, over the course of time, that eventually you're going to hit it big, as long as you're doing activities that yield a net positive result.
Yeah.
And that's really what content creation is about. And, what business is about is trying different things, trying different strategies. Most of them are bunk.
Yeah.
But, people will say, oh, I don't want to get scammed out of $100. $100 is $100.
Yeah.
I'd rather blow $100 on learning a course than blow it on a bunch of alcohol that I won't even remember I had tomorrow.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, it's right. So I'm gonna segue across to a different topic now, quickly, which is something that I don't know if it's the same in the US, but I imagine it probably is that governments my feeling is that governments stifle kind of progress generally in our culture these days. And I think one of the reasons that they do it is just because they can't keep up due to the bureaucracy, due to any regulation or anything else that needs to be passed. They just try and stifle it because they don't want it running away from them. And some examples of that are things like cryptocurrency, some medicine, especially now with the coronavirus. I know there's a lot of kind of vaccines that are being put forward to the FDA but being rejected and all these sorts of things. So I don't know what your opinion is on government stifling progress within our society now.
Whoever controls the money controls the world.
Yeah.
And governments utilize their control nowadays with taxation. Like I said, this perfectly segues into conversation we had earlier about kind of slavery to the government and the almighty dollar. Is that if you're working 60 hours a week and just a normal job, active income, you get taxed pretty much 50% when you take into consideration your income tax, your Social Security taxes, your property taxes, your sales taxes, and you're kept poor. It's not fair. It's really slavery for the government to take 50% of your income, because that's how it works. And instead of leveraging, investment income and residual income and royalty income, that can be is taxed very minimally. When you're an employee, say if you earn $100, you have to pay taxes on $100. But when you're a business owner, you get to deduct all your expenses first.
Yeah. And it's again, just in contrast, when I was living in South America, and it's strange that we're supposed to be the developed countries, and so it's really strange. But if you want to start a business down there, you can open up a little pizza restaurant at the front of your house, or you can turn your living room into a little shop, and you can do that with barely any regulation at all. You just kind of, you file a paper just to say I'm opening this business, and that's it. And there's nobody comes and checks you or anything for probably years. So it's really good for people to get ahead. Because once somebody does come and check in with you, if you've been open 24 months, you've now got that kind of backing behind you. You've not really paid any tax. You've kind of, you've hidden some of that money away, whatever. But the point is that that's the way it should be. You should have some way of starting out and not being kind of taxed to death right from the outset.
Well, and the thing about government regulation, people have the preconceived notion that just because the government approves something means it's either safe or valid. People don't know, the smartphone here, they do radiation tests to see, it's within acceptable levels. Well, if you look at how they measure acceptable radiation, they measure it at a distance like 6 inches.
Right.
I don't keep my phone 6 inches away from my body.
Yeah.
So the phone manufacturers will make it so that it's shielded. So, when it gets to the testing, 6 inches, it's within acceptable levels. But if I have it to my head, blasting radiation, and that's really kind of the government picking winners and losers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like your pizza shop example, in America, there's so many different organizations and government regulatory bodies that you have to comply with, and a lot of the time they're conflicting. That if the one body says, "Oh, the door needs to open this way," and the other says, "No, the door needs to open this way," and the different inspectors are not talking to each other. Says, "Okay, fix it or I fine you."
Yeah.
But literally, the other guy from the government said it needs to do the opposite.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a regulatory mess. You're focusing so much on pleasing the government with paperwork, and in healthcare, paperwork. Doing everything by the book. That you can just to comply. You're not in the business of serving your customers. You're in the business of serving the government bureaucrats.
Yeah, and like you said, not just your customers, but society as a whole. That progress is suffering because of that. And so if you want, whatever you're doing with your business, you want to grow it and you want it to benefit people and benefit. And so, I mean, how far could we have gone with technology, with our culture, with our society, without this kind of overreaching government stopping us from doing that? It's mad.
Yeah, and in previous thought processes, I would be like, oh, just screw the government, anarchy. But there is a sense of, okay, in a civilized society, we can't have businesses taking advantage of people. But there has to be a happy medium between the total anarchy, pure free market capitalism that people are subject to the wills of their employer, and complete socialism, government, draconian control. And I think that, at least in America, there's a lot of people, that half of the country wants socialism, half the country wants anarchy. And, I think the solution is coming from a rights standpoint rather than a dictating behavior standpoint. In other words, like, if I have certain rights, if I walk into a pizza shop, I expect not to get sick. If I go, if I get sick, okay, then we have a problem.
Yeah.
And then, what are you doing? Are your employees not washing your hands? Okay. That shouldn't be like you can't be Papa government looking over the employees, making sure every time they come over the bathroom that they wash their hands. But I think it's kind of regulation via the tort system rather than the government bureaucracy. That if I get sick at the restaurant and we do a discovery, they have roaches. Well, then via the power of social media, you post it online. Hey, this company has roaches, and kind of like have an independent, veracity. And hey, maybe someone wants to enjoy food with the roaches.
yeah, but it's giving the option to people. Yeah.
Right, and it's like, enjoy. If I want to enjoy, some people love exotic food, and they want to prepare it a certain way. Not even exotic food. Say pemmican, where I want beef jerky that is heated up at a lower temperature than what's legally required, because it preserves the minerals and the proteins. Well, it's illegal to sell that, even though it's safe. That you just increase the amount of time you're dehydrating the meat and cooking it at a lower temperature. It has the same effect as if it was at a higher temperature in terms of safeness, but it kills all the nutrients. Same with milk. Unpasteurized milk is good. I love it. As long as it's grass-fed.
Yeah.
You can't have a grain-fed cow. But, there's literally, I've heard of the government, doing raids on farmers selling unpasteurized milk.
Yeah.
Like, if I want to buy unpasteurized milk and if it's inherently dangerous, that should be up to me.
Because eventually that'll get found out. If something's dangerous, eventually it'll be found out, won't it?
And and there's kind of the sense that, as soon as it's dangerous, we need to make a law about it.
Mm.
Well, people kind of forget you have the choice whether or not you go shop at a certain establishment.
That's right, yeah.
That they, same with employees, all the employee regulations that, granted, I don't want people to be discriminated against, but if someone's a racist, they shouldn't be forced to hire someone that they don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, then, they should make it publicly available. So people say, oh, you don't like our kind or our group of people? I'm not going to shop there.
Yeah.
And then you go to the person who says, oh, come on in, you're welcome.
Yep. That's right, yeah.
People, we've become like so much, we need a law for every single thing that we forget why are we doing it.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things at the moment, again, I'm not completely sure on the US, but in the UK, there's a lot of political speakers talking about regulation for the internet because I don't think that they appreciate that people can go and research and find out the truth and everything else. They don't have that control anymore, so they kind of they're panicking a little bit and they want to control that.
Right. Well, it used to be if a politician went to Arkansas, middle of nowhere, and did a speech, and they promised them X, Y, and Z. Well, when it came to the election, no one heard about that. Maybe it was reported in the local paper, but me being in New Jersey or PA, I couldn't read the Arkansas Times.
Yeah.
But nowadays, you can record someone and see video from someone 20 years ago saying something completely different than what they say now. And say, oh, I've always thought this way.
Yeah.
And we're able to catch people in their lies and hold people accountable because politicians have run amok because they haven't been held accountable.
Yeah. And the tides are turning now, and I think that's why it's so important to hold on to this kind of freedom of the internet and net neutrality, and where people can kind of verify everything, because like you say, it's very hard now to keep a lie under wraps. And
but the thing is, the kind of people who the internet researchers, so to speak, there's kind of been a panic is kind of Google and Facebook and Twitter, that they've become the public domain, and they're censoring people.
Mm-hmm.
That it used to be that the government was censoring people, but now we're kind of like in this awkward situation that it's a private company, it's their platform, and they're choosing who wants to be heard.
Yeah.
And most of the voices on Twitter aren't real people; they're robots.
Yeah.
Fake accounts that outrage on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
trending.
Yeah.
It's all automated replies to make it look like there's a mob of people who, this is atrocious. Like the Covington case where it blew up and a lie spread around the world that the kid was a racist when he was just standing there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think people are starting to wisen up that it used to be that when you turn on the news, you trusted that they gave you the news. But now people are realizing that, wait a second, just because the man in the nice suit on the telly or the internet said something doesn't mean it's true.
No, and they hate it as well. You can tell, like if you follow the journalists online and the newsreaders online, they hate it. They hate the fact that people are calling them out, and like you say, the fact that people aren't trusting them, they don't like it.
No, and they don't realize how untrustworthy they are, that they'll report something that's blatantly false just to get the internet clicks. And then the next day is, correction, that gets, no coverage.
Yeah.
So that the lie, people believe, look at this big story, and then you show them the correction the next day. But they're, incentivized to tell the lie, the burning clickbait lie, because they get all this ad money. But there's a reckoning coming that people are starting to realize, okay, I don't really trust this news source anymore, and they're going to alternative sites.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're checking out independent creators, and even with Google, with Joe Rogan, Joe Rogan moving to Spotify, that he's given his own freedom to say what he wants to say, opposed to you have to watch his mouth.
No, absolutely, and I mean, for somebody that big to move, it's a game changer, I think. But I remember actually the moment. It was, I don't know if it was last year or might have been the year before, but I remember watching one of his videos where he expressed the way he was feeling, and he said, "Look, I'm being demonetized here because we're using some footage that we're discussing, so it should be fair use. But YouTube's just taken us down. We've got no way of talking to them. They've just decided to demonetize it." And so it's been festering for him since then. And so for him to take that decision now, it's an eye opener for people, because now that maybe the tides are turning a little bit. Maybe we're going to see a lot of people doing that now. Everything's going to change from here on in. I don't know.
The thing that I'm a big advocate for is owning your platform. In terms of, you go into someone's house to do business, you play by their rules. But if you come to my house and my own, website or, my own platform, I own the rules. I do my content, and, I own the marketing. I own my email addresses. I own, the ebooks I sell.
Yeah.
It's like Tim Pool was saying, it's a dangerous, thing to build a business on YouTube, where if they don't like your content, or even if you've been there for many years and you've said the same things for many years, say, "Oh, sorry, we don't want you here anymore."
Yeah.
What do you own? Do you own your subscribers on YouTube?
Yeah, you don't
know.
Yeah.
Who is a subscriber on YouTube? You just see it's a number. Whereas, if I own an email address, I know that's attached to a person that I could reach out to.
Yeah.
Now, how can you reach out to a YouTube subscriber?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Similar on Facebook as well. Back in the day, kind of, I don't know how long this ago was, but I remember if you had a group on Facebook, you could build this group up, and I had groups that were tens of thousands of people strong, and you could message every single one of those people just for free, and it was brilliant, because if you had a message, that was it. You ping out a message, that's it. Everybody's got it, and you get tons of replies back. And then it changed then when they realised that they could then monetize that, and actually to get out to people, now you need to pay us to do an ad and everything else. It's just getting a bit too much, really, considering that technology should be kind of fair and free for people to use, I think.
Well, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier about your 1,000 true fans. People think, creating the next Facebook is what they're out to do, but, really all you need to make is your own little community of people who are interested in a topic.
Yeah.
And, I want to tout my own opinions or, happenings on Facebook, but, I kind of arguing with people who disagree with me instead of, with my own community, saying, oh, kind of the echo chamber. And it's like an unfortunate thing, because I'm the type of person that I want to shout my opinion and then let you hear, let you get the opportunity to shout yours at me.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who, I'll shout my opinion and then they get all offended.
Yeah.
There's no discourse.
Yeah.
There's no dialogue.
Yeah.
That opinions are meant to be shouted, not in a respectful way, but it makes no difference to share your opinion if you don't let the other person share theirs. And, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. And I spoke to somebody else the other day about this, and I think that when you're discussing with somebody and you've got different opinions, that doesn't mean the other person's a bad person that you're talking to. Like, that's just one of their opinions. So that might be 1%. The other 99%, they may be really compatible with your personality and your opinion. So, but today people are too preoccupied with just throwing out somebody because because they don't agree with what they're saying.
Yeah, and it hurts me because I made a new friend recently, and my roommate I was talking about earlier, who's a professional chef, and he is non-binary,
Right.
and
Yep.
we probably vote differently, and we have he's African American, and we quote unquote look differently, and we live different lifestyles. But I can still love him as a human being, and respect his choices and what he does with his body and his time. It doesn't diminish him as a person what I think of him, and he can respect me, and I think we've lost the art in the world of that connection of being friendly with someone who disagrees on us with some issues, but fundamentally, we both believe in God and treating people with respect and enjoying food, and we can relate over that. We don't talk politics, and I haven't broached the topic, and nor are we going to.
No, that's probably.
That's just going to create a rift, but we enjoy food, and like Lily last night, I said, I want to treat you. So I bought a $70 thing of sushi, and he was like beyond in tears.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the sushi, and being able to enjoy, a platter of sushi that he was happy that I was able to do something with him as a friend, and granted that, yeah.
So I was just saying, it's very, very primal, isn't it? It's just that breaking of bread between people, just.
Yeah. And and that's something kind of working on myself, because I told my best friend about the friend I made, and he says, "Whoa, a few years ago you wouldn't have been talking to him."
Yeah.
Or you've been, "Whoa, stay away from me."
Yeah.
It's kind of like evolving as a person. That so I consider it the sign of a mature mind, to being able to respect someone as a person, and not as their their actions or their thoughts or their beliefs.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think we're going to have to probably wrap it up in a minute, if that's all right, because it's been nearly 2 hours now, but I think that's a really good kind of end point for us. But I'm going to finish with this kind of question for you. How would you like people to remember you after you're gone? Do you have something in mind that, how would you like people to remember Adam?
I want people to know that, when I'm gone from this world, that I was the person that helped them become free, and not only financially, but mentally, physically, emotionally. That I was able to, free them from the constraints of life. That they're able to earn a living without having to break their back.
Yeah, that's really nice, man. That's it's if everybody kind of was remembered in that way, we'd be living in a really good world, I think. So thank you very much for coming on. Is there anything that you want to direct people to who are watching this? Is there somewhere that they can come and kind of engage with you and talk with you?
Yeah, I'm in the process of updating my website, but when it's going to be up in the next few weeks, AdamJulius.com. That's my domain, and that's business tip 101. Buy your own domain name.
There's your starting point. Yeah.
Buy your own real estate. At least own your name, so people aren't talking trash about you on your own namesake.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. Listen, it's been a real pleasure. It's been really, really good, and great to meet you. And thanks for coming on and entertaining my people.
Yeah, of course. I look forward to talking to you again, Chris. It was a pleasure.
Brilliant. Thank you, mate. Well, everybody else, please subscribe, like, comment. Let us know what you think about what we've been talking about, and I'll see you on the next one. Next Drinks with Chris. Take it easy. Brilliant, mate. Thank you very much.